Hello, everybody, and welcome to Teachers in the Dungeon. I'm Tom Gross.
And I'm Dan Ream, feeling oddly mechanical.
Yeah, it's kind of, we've built this one up, haven't we? Sorry, we had to do it. Before we started recording, I said to Dan, I'll keep this secret until you read your description of the and you said it's on the title. Like, oh, nuts. So, anyway. Okay, it's our monster show.
Yes.
Part of our monster series. This has been fun. I've enjoyed doing this.
Yeah, it's helped me.
Kind of makes me want to do some deep dives into specific creatures.
I think that's probably our
types.
Probably our plan for next year.
So constructs is our creature this year, our creature type. So toss it to you.
All right. So yes,
your intro.
A frustrated author, I guess, but whatever. So, wouldn't it be great if you could magically create a creature to help you on the daily? Something that didn't talk too much or have any inconvenient thoughts or aspirations. Something that you could just throw together from various body parts you've scavenged, or maybe just an old set of armor that you could use as a prison for any spare soul you might happen to come across. Of course, such a creature might go haywire if its instructions are interrupted in any way and end up killing you, but I'm sure it'll be fine.
You know, I'm looking at my notes. Show's over. You covered it.
We hit it all.
That is cool. I always like those intros that you put together. What I liked about that one is you really did knock out a lot of the checklists.
I had the checklist here.
So now we can talk a little bit more about those. So constructs.
Yes.
I'm just going to bring up right from the start the conversation I had with you yesterday as I had started the research on constructs. And I said, isn't it weird that golems are constructs? And you said, well, they're made. And I had to pause. And my mind was working around the idea of constructs are built. And there is a distinction between a construct is something built or made, and not born.
Yes. Okay.
Mind blowing in my world.
Yeah, I had a few general things too, like to add to that. Mm-hmm. They're created inventions or devices, usually neutral alignment, which would make sense. Sometimes inhabited by a spirit of some sort.
Yes.
As part of the construction. Usually created for a specific purpose.
Yep.
Hard to kill.
Okay. Yeah.
Immune to lots of stuff, including some magical attacks, which makes them really frustrating. And certain damage types actually heal them.
Right. While we're on this theme, because I made a list like that too. I think the only one that I have that you didn't grab onto was most of them do not require air, food, water, or sleep.
Right.
So a construct is always on the aware. Let me see. I had the immunities and resistances. I think you said this one. Wildly loyal to its creator in most cases. Mm-hmm. And yeah, you covered they're often made or put into a place to protect something. So
how'd you have them organized?
It's a hot mess. I went solely on what did I think of first.
Okay.
But one more thing, and then I want to dive into some of them. Is I found somewhere, it was online, I think it was one of the wikis, that said common creators of these are artificers and wizards.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know why I found that to be interesting. And I think about an iron golem, probably created by a wizard that imbued it into life. Mm-hmm. Things like a warforged are probably built by an artificer. Mm-hmm. And cared for by an artificer. So I was like, wow, two classes can probably be, I mean, it's not exclusive to those two, but most of them probably were created by one of those two groups. So that was interesting. So my first one was warforged.
Oh.
So did you have a warforged?
I did not. I have them, I did subdivide them.
Okay.
I had subcategories.
Ooh, okay. Let's hear those.
So real quick, so I've got the drones.
The
mono, duo, tri.
Yes, okay. It's funny that they get their own category.
Yes, but they kind of don't fit anywhere else. I had animated objects.
Okay.
Golems.
Yep.
Gnomish clockworks.
Oh, okay.
And then miscellaneous/evil.
Yeah. Okay, I think I have at least one of all of those. I think.
So where do you want to start?
While I'm on Warforged, I'm just going to get that out of the way because I
Okay.
can't get past it. That would fit into your, I guess, gnomish creations at some point. I mean, they're built by artificers. Many artificers are gnomes.
It's kind of a natural fit.
Yeah. Warforged are from the land of Eberron.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's Corvair, but it's the world, the plane of Eberron. They were built as basically, hence the name, they were built to be war machines. But then they developed sentience and personality and thought and independence. And so some Warforged and Eberron are still in that complete servitude that you would expect from like a golem or something.
Mm-hmm.
But then there is a population of Warforged that have become sentient, independent groups and creatures that think for their own. And a lot of them try to fight to free the ones that are under servitude but know no different.
Okay.
And so I thought that was kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
There's also a resistance that is led by the Lord of the Blades, which you guys in the Waterdeep group that went to Eberron that time, you didn't face off with the Lord of the Blades, but you came across his soldiers and some of his captains.
Right.
I just thought Warforged were really cool. For a long time in D&D, it was like robots. We don't like people were like, oh, we should have space. There's that one module that's escaping my mind right now that has the crashed spaceship that you can get laser pistols and there are androids on there and things like that. And it was fun. It was cool, but it just didn't seem like D&D. It didn't seem fantasy. It wasn't a good mix of science fiction and fantasy. So when Warforged came out, I was really excited about that. And then it just sort of worked. Mm-hmm. Because they look fantasy-ish, but they also are mechanical. You heal them not by a heal spell. You heal them by fixing them. Mm-hmm. And so I thought that was kind of cool. And it's also a species, I guess, a creation that you can easily. They in fact they introduced it as a player character option.
Right.
You can do them as NPCs. You can do it as a player character very easily. And so, I don't know, I thought Warforged was really cool. I thought Corey Clubb in our group played a Warforged to a T. I thought it was great. Wi-Fi. Mm-hmm. Y5.
Y5, yeah.
Y5 was his name. When he brought that out, that was just great. So, anyway, Warforged is my first construct.
So, kind of going along with that, I'll talk about the gnomish clockworks. And these are all from Mordenkainen's.
Ooh, okay, cool.
So that's where I found them. I knew I'd seen them. I couldn't remember which book. And of course, it was the last that I looked at. But I did eventually find it. So there's 4, the Bronze Scout, the Iron Cobra, the Oaken Bolter, and the Stone Defender.
That is so cool.
So they're all pretty nasty to deal with. Mm-hmm. Mordenkainen tends to have the higher level creatures. So the Bronze Scout buries itself. It looks a little like a scorpion. So it buries itself in sand or whatever, and it's got eye stalks. So it's more a surveillance thing, but it can call down a lightning flare for 4d6 damage.
Oh my gosh.
If you get too close to it.
Before you even know that it's there.
Mm-hmm.
Holy cow.
The Iron Cobra is even tougher, but it's exactly what you think. It's a mechanical snake with poison. The Oaken Bolter is a sort of a sentient catapult.
Okay.
So it's got a bunch of nasty things it can throw at you. And then the last one, Stone Defender, looks kind of like a stone golem, but it's more like a metal golem with stone. It's a goofy concept, but it looks pretty cool. He's got 2 big shields. The shields are made out of stone.
Okay.
And they're bolted to his metal body.
Oh.
So he functions a little bit like the fighters have you can take a fighting style where you can interpose and
shield master.
That's
not it.
Later, but it's something like that, defensive specialist or something where you can, if you're next to somebody who's being attacked, you can impose disadvantage on the attack on your friend. Okay. This just adds to the AC of somebody who's near them, but it functions like the shield spell.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Those are cool. I love the name, the Oaken. What is it? The Oaken
Bolter.
That sounds like something Borum would really be into.
Mm-hmm.
He'd think that's cool. I don't have any more of those,
Okay.
the gnomish,
Clockworks.
where do you want to go from there?
Up to you, really.
Let's go golems,
Okay.
because that was the one that I was like, what? But
Yeah.
after thinking about it, of course. Funny, in my list I have golems listed twice, and then I listed a specific one. So the one that I came across the most in just reading about constructs is the iron golem.
Yeah.
That one seems the most logical that you would build it.
Yeah.
All the other ones are kind of made, like a clay golem or a flesh golem. You sew it together like a Frankenstein or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't think about how powerful these are. And when you said that most of these are quite difficult and can be really frustrating to fight, I found the same with golems.
Mm-hmm.
Is even the weakest one has resistances that make it difficult, if I'm remembering right. I think it's the flesh golem is the weakest, or is it
Flesh is the
clay?
weakest.
Okay. Yeah. And
There's a reason that's the only one I've ever thrown at you guys so far.
Okay. Yeah. Well, let me tell you, when you throw an iron golem, I'll know we're in big trouble. Or I'm going to feel pretty good about ourselves, because that's not for the faint of heart. I thought those were really cool. And something that, so you mentioned this, I'm going to talk about it here with golems, is you talk about how a lot of the constructs might have spirits imbued in them.
Mm-hmm.
So I got this idea in my head for an adventure. Let me see if I can draw it out. I wasn't with a pencil and paper when I thought of this, so you know how that goes for me. But you could, so a artificer or a wizard tells the group, I need you, there's this awful thing going on at this place, and I need you to go and defeat these people. They're badgering this other group, and the other group is the golems. So you get there, you meet the townspeople, and you're like, yeah, stop doing this, and then the golems attack. And then through a series of discoveries and investigations, you find out that actually the wizard built those golems and put the spirits of the people from that town in those golems just to mess with them. And he threw you into the mix. So it's like a game that the wizard or the artificer is playing just for some enjoyment of some sort, but he's gotten you tied into. And eventually his plan is to take the adventurer spirits and throw them into something. And so, I don't know. It didn't come across as nearly as well as it did in my head, but I think you get the idea.
Yeah.
If you can use those spirits as adventure hooks, they're inside these constructs.
Yeah. The only other thing I really broke down about them is 3 of the 4 are actually healed by damage.
Wow, I don't know how I missed that.
So flesh
Okay.
golems, if you hit them with lightning rejuvenates them, which is very fitting from the movies. That's
Sure.
how Frankenstein got brought to life.
Yep.
Clay golems are healed by acid damage.
Okay.
And the next strongest, stone, I couldn't find any example. I don't think they're healed by anything,
Okay.
but I could be wrong on that. And then the iron golems are healed by fire, which makes sense.
All
Melts
of those, all of those makes sense. I'm trying to think like what the stone would, like how do you fix stone?
I don't know.
Unless you just don't.
Cement damage.
Cement damage. Splatter damage. Yeah. Okay. That's a fascinating feature of golems that I guess I really haven't fought many golems except the flesh golems that you've thrown at us.
And the flesh golem, I don't know if the others do this, but the flesh golem, there is a chance that if it gets damaged enough, that's when it kind of goes haywire and just lashes out blindly. So
Okay.
there are some dangers to having these as protectors, that they can,
It can go bad
yeah,
for you as the creator also. Okay.
definitely.
All right.
So I've got animated objects left and the drones.
Let's talk about those.
Okay,
These are the modrons.
modrons, yes.
That are the oddest. That you get to them in the player's handbook and you're just like, what is going on here? Because you've got, what are they again?
Well, they're created by Primus,
yes,
the god of Mechanus or Mechanus, that plane.
yeah,
And so, yes, if you know your
shapes.
Latin and your
Yeah.
shapes, monodrones, duodrones, tridrones, quadrones, pentadrones. And then I did find referenced in other materials a hexton
Yeah.
and then a marut.
Okay. So I think some of those are in. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's in Monster Manual 2 that the like from first edition, I think, that the modrons made their first appearance, and it is pages of them. And so, and Primus is in that book as well.
Okay.
And so, just some oddities to these is one, I could never think as a DM how to use these.
Yeah.
And as we've talked, the dungeon dudes made it abundantly clear of a great way to use them. I'll let you describe how they use them.
Sure. I think we've mentioned before, but it is in the very first season of Drakkenheim, the adventurers do come across some modrons, and they're entirely neutral, lawful neutral. They will follow and obey whatever laws are given to them to the T, without mercy, without deviation. But Monty, the DM, came up with the brilliant idea of the monodrones only communicating in binary.
Yeah.
So he would have them go 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. And it was a moment, that's for sure, on the show. The players just looked at him for a minute and could not help but burst out laughing.
Yeah.
It was just wonderful.
It is great. And so now I got ways, like I have that picture in my head. I don't want to copy, but it really, that was so well done.
I don't know. You couldn't improve on it, that's for sure.
Yeah. And so one thing that I really thought was cool about the modrons is that every 289 years, I don't know if there's something to that number as far as like code or something like that, but every 289 years, they will just go berserk and they will trample through multiplanes. And there's a reason for it, and I'm not remembering exactly what it is, but it's I'm going to look it up here real quick. We're both looking things up as we're talking.
I know what you're talking about, but I think it is just for some reason that Mechanus or Primus decides. And I don't think it's necessary. It's not meant to be necessarily violent.
It's called the Great Modron March. When the gears of Mechanus complete 17 cycles, once every 289 years. Primus sends a vast army.
289 is 17 squared.
Okay. Does that mean anything?
Just that obviously they knew that and picked that because of the 17-year cycle.
Oh, got it. Okay. But so Primus sends vast armies of modrons across the outer planes, ostensibly on a reconnaissance mission. The march is long and dangerous, and only a small number of modrons returns to Mechanus.
And I say the whole thing is very, very orderly, very hierarchical.
Yeah.
You can, if you are one of these drones, you can only communicate with the level immediately below or above you. Two levels up, there is no way to understand what's being said. So I wonder if that's like binary and then hexadecimal and
right. Yeah, exactly.
all that sort of thing. So the only other thing I found, the Hexton is interesting because it creates its own construct called the Steel Predator, which does function sort of like a metal golem.
Okay.
And then the Marut enforces law to the letter on Primus, and it has a CR of 25. Wow. Which is above.
What is, I was going to say, is that above Primus?
Well, I don't know about Primus, but it definitely hits Demogorgon level.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
So definitely a society that they created on this plane of Mechanus that has a lot of cool story that could be told with that. I mean, I don't know if you want to try to attempt the 289th year on Mechanus and have some sort of try to stop the modrons.
It's like you picture the version of the army ants marching through the jungles of South America or whatever. And
so, but it's a cool concept. I've never done anything with it, but I've read about them and just imagined. So let's go to the animated objects.
I've got animated and then miscellaneous.
Yeah, let's do animated objects.
Yeah, the miscellaneous is a little more interesting, so it's good to end with them.
Yeah.
So animated, not much to be said really, but they're just kind of they tend to be the ones that you throw at people in a dungeon crawl early on.
Yes.
None of them are horribly difficult, but they're fun. Flying sword, rug of smothering, animated armor. The one that actually is a little more tricky is a helmed horror.
Those are, yes.
Yeah, and it's essentially animated armor, but it does have its own will, so it can plan and strategize a little more.
Right. Now, when I was reading the description of the Helmed Horror, you would know that it's not just a set of plate armor standing there, or does it? Can it?
The image looks
look
different.
like yeah, that's what I thought. Whereas all the other ones, I mean, the cool thing about animated objects is you can place them around and have players discover them by being surprised.
Yes.
Which is sort of the MO of the rugged smothering, which I've used against you guys.
Yes.
I think I've also done in that same room or the room next to it, there was something else in there.
There's Nikistos got, or was it Nikistos? No, I think it was Kerasis got dropped by an animated table.
Okay,
It
yeah.
slammed into him and knocked him unconscious.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, that was early on. And in my D&D game last year with the kids in Game Club, this was a little disturbing, but it's in a module, and it's the Scarlet Citadel by the Kobold Press. There is a room, like a torture chamber, and all of the torture chamber items
Oh dear.
come to life. And so talk about some weird things and weird looks I got from the kids, but we kept it pretty standard. You know, the table that stretches people, you know, that attacked, and I don't remember
The
what
comments
else.
I had
I
are
didn't
staying unspoken because it's a family show.
I
But
didn't do anything weird or
I know you wouldn't have, but I mean,
But-
there's, yes, less said, the better.
so animated objects.
Yes.
You can have fun with them.
Yeah. That didn't make it better.
Let's go to
Miscellaneous.
miscellaneous.
Quickly.
Off the rails.
So I have 4. 3 are evil, 1 is not.
Let's hear the evil ones.
Okay, Scarecrow.
Oh darn, that's the one I had.
All right, we'll go ahead and talk about it then.
Yeah, I know. I just thought that when I came across that, I was like, a scarecrow. I would never have thought of that.
Yes.
As a piece, and so you're like, man, okay. So I'm thinking about when we're in Slint and we're going through the fields.
Mm-hmm.
What a great place that would have been. They're like, well, you notice a scarecrow here, and boy, there's one on the other side of the field too, and how
did.
before you know it. Okay, did we? Okay,
That
as I was
happened.
saying, I was like, I think maybe we did this.
You did.
But before you know it, you've got all these scarecrows on sticks. You're like, okay, something's up here.
Mm-hmm.
This was by the hag's
Yes.
hut.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we walked into that one.
That was, yeah, literally.
Yeah. So no, I thought Scarecrow was cool. It's a character or a creature construct that I wouldn't have thought of using because it's so, I don't know, common. It's almost been like made to a children's kind of tale with Wizard of Oz and those sorts of things.
Yeah, they're creepy. Okay, my second one I'm just putting in here because it's not as interesting as the last 2. So this one is not evil. Still kind of interesting though. A sacred statue.
Oh, I don't
And
know
this
either.
is a statue. There's a creature called an eidolon or eidolon, Eidolon. It is a creature that is a spirit creature. It's like undead. It's like a ghost or whatever, but it has a specific purpose to guard a shrine
Okay.
of some deity, and it has the ability to inhabit and animate a statue. So once it gets into the statue, that's when you have its stats and how it fights and
Got
everything
it.
else.
When you kill it, does the spirit inside perish?
I don't think so.
It gets
I
to
think
go
it just
on
goes
and-
on. There maybe could only
That's
inhabit
kinda
one,
cool.
so it's lost its body.
Yeah. Okay.
But-
Cool. Sacred statue.
Yep.
Okay. I don't have any more. in this.
Okay. So I don't know which one to save for last. I'll do the. We'll just go in order. The next one is the Hellfire Engine.
Okay. I can't wait for number 1. Tell me about this.
This is created by devils, and it is just a gigantic rolling machine of death.
Is this from Avernus? I want to say these are in Avernus.
They probably are, and then they're in, I forget if it's Volos or Mordenkainen's, but it's in
Okay.
one of those. It has 3 different things it can do. It has the bone melt sprayer, which just does hideous damage, the lightning flail,
Okay.
and the thunder cannon.
Nice.
So it's got options of ranged or close, and it is an area of effect spells or single.
Okay.
Its only goal is to kill. That's what it does. That's what it wants to do.
Okay.
End of story.
But it's built by devils. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Yeah, I think if I remember right, it's in Avernus, and it's they're obviously using it. It was built for the Demon War, the Demon Devil War, and there's a great picture in the book. I think it's Baldur's Gate, Avernus, or it's the adventure. There's a really cool picture of those in there. So nice, good find.
And the last one is less immediately shocking, but is I think very cool. A retriever, but it's not a dog.
I think I know what you're gonna. Yeah.
It is a mechanical spider.
Yes.
Created by the Drow. But this is what gets me. The goal of it, it's not meant to attack dwarves or anything like that. They send the retriever to the abyss to capture demons alive.
Oh.
So, and bring back.
Okay.
So this thing is very hard to kill. It does inflict damage, but its main thing is it tries to gas you and knock you unconscious so it can grab you. And just like a spider
would, yeah.
sting doesn't kill you, it just right away. It just so it can
paralyzes.
so it can wrap you up.
Does it say what the drow would do with the demons?
It just says for whatever
interesting
hideous purposes they've
those drow.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty BA that
it is.
You're capturing demons to use
A retriever.
Yeah.
That's cool. So there's one that I'm just curious if you've ever used this. Every time I look at this creature, I've never used it, but I never in 100 years would have classified it or thought of it as a construct. It's teeny tiny. It's a tiny creature. The homunculus.
I saw it. It didn't fit very well, so I left it out.
So it is a tiny creature, but why is it a construct? It looks like
it's made. If you read about it, it's made out of like mud and straw and so
like a golem, similar to a golem.
Yeah, but it looks like it functions like a familiar, essentially.
Yeah. That
you can, if you don't have a call or find familiar, then you can maybe create one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, some of the description of it reminded me of like a pseudo dragon or something that's under the service of a wizard or something.
And the image kind of looks like Stitch from Lilo and Stitch.
It does. You're right. That's funny. So this, as with all of our creature shows, our monster series, there's stuff that I didn't even consider with some of these. It's so easy to get caught into goblins, orcs, the standard.
Yes, I tend to overlook them. A machine just isn't as fantasy and as scary to me.
Yeah,
but they've really made them with some interesting features, I think.
Yeah. And the thing that I couldn't get over that I just kept thinking about was how to tie these into an adventure where the wizard is the bad guy or the artificer is the bad guy. And like I shared earlier, but portraying themselves as a victim and using that story to trap them into encountering their construct for some awful damage or capture or whatever.
Right.
So I need to rethink those sorts of things now because I think that's really cool. It's easy to make those big bad bosses to be some kind of an awful creature, although you're a lot better at that than I am. Mine are usually it's a dragon or it's a demon or something like that, whereas how about a human wizard is the big bad. So they use their constructs as their tools. Well, cool. Any final thoughts?
I don't think so. I think they're I mean, I'll be honest, I'm more interested in them than I was. I don't know that they still rank that high on my list of things I would use, but I can certainly appreciate. There's one or two in here that I think would just be really fun. Honestly, a homunculus, I should put that in because I think that could be a fun, the new favorite NPC of the characters.
Yes, they could be. Yeah, it always makes me nervous when you say, I found a couple that could really use. I heard it in your voice, by the way. I'm sure other people did too. So, well, cool. This was a good build.
Yeah.
All right. Well, have you used the construct in your game? Were you as surprised as I was that golems are considered constructs? I don't know what I thought. Monstrosities is what I think I thought they were, or aberration or something. Let us know. Send us a Gmail, teachersinthedungeon@gmail.com, or join us on Instagram or Facebook at Teachers in the Dungeon, or on Twitter at Dungeon Teachers. This will have some great images, I'm sure, when you join.
Yes, I was already kind of thinking of the prompts I'll put into.
When you go to our YouTube channel and you listen, you have something to look at.
Yes.
Because you've been awesome about using some AI art to support or kind of go along with our shows. So I'm looking forward to that one, actually.
And with almost every one, if you look carefully enough, you'll find why it is so totally obvious it's AI, because a lot of them are wonky, but
yeah,
in very subtle ways.
We've talked about how it sometimes just puts weird things in weird places.
Yes.
So definitely I'm not an AI expert, but I cannot draw, so I use the AI. Yes. Unashamedly. All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining us. And hey, until next time, keep rolling those 20s.
Or constructing them.
Ooh, yeah. Build those 20s. See ya.